Turkey, how the world is helping. What happened? In the wake of the devastating 2023 Turkey and Syrian earthquake, the world came together to offer aid and support to those affected. Over 141,000 volunteers from 94 different countries and organizations joined the rescue and relief effort. In this video, we take a look at how Turkey and Syria have dealt so far with the situation and how the world is helping Turkey and Syria recover from this tragic natural disaster. On February 6, 2023, Turkey, as well as the northwestern region of Syria, were struck by a devastating earthquake with a magnitude of 7.8. The earthquake had a maximum Mercalli intensity of 11, meaning that the earth shook so hard that buildings shifted off their foundations and the ground was physically pulled apart, leaving cracks in the earth. As if this wasn't bad enough, it was then followed by a second earthquake with a magnitude of 7.7 on the Richter scale. Tens of thousands of people have lost their lives, with hundreds of people still left unaccounted for. The number of dead is sadly only set to rise. It's believed that over 350,000 square kilometers of land has been either affected or completely destroyed. For those struggling to envision the sheer scale of destruction that's occurred in Turkey and Syria, this is the equivalent to the entire country of Germany in complete ruin and disrepair. The earthquake was the deadliest Turkey has seen in nearly 1,500 years since the 526 Antioch earthquake, and the deadliest in Syria since the 1822 Aleppo earthquake. The earthquakes caused an estimated $84 billion in damages, making these earthquakes the fourth costliest earthquakes the world has ever seen. The Disaster and Emergency Management Authority of Turkey rescue and relief efforts were hampered by damaged roads, winter storms, and disruptions to communications. To make matters worse, during winter months, daylight is a scarce resource with only 6 to 7 hours of daylight a day, meaning that most rescue missions were conducted under the night sky. Just how bad is the situation in Turkey and Syria? The situation in Turkey and Syria following the earthquake was dire. In Turkey, the death toll reached more than 45,000, with over 108,000 people injured across 11 provinces. More than 13.5 million people and 4 million buildings have been affected, with about 345,000 apartments devastated, and thousands of trapped trapped under rubble when buildings collapsed. Damage inspections conducted by the Ministry of Environment, Urbanization and Climate Change revealed that 164,000 buildings were either destroyed or severely damaged, with a further 150,000 commercial infrastructures moderately damaged. In some areas, villages and towns have seen nearly 80% of all infrastructure severely damaged. The situation is no better in Syria. At least 8,500 people have lost their lives and over 14,500 injured. The earthquake affected 10.9 million people, and an estimated 5.4 million people across Syria have been made homeless. In government-held areas, the Syrian Ministry of Health recorded over 2,000 earthquake-related deaths and nearly 3,000 injuries, with most of them occurring in the provinces of Aleppo and Latakia. The earthquake experienced by Turkey and Syria is not an isolated event. Over the past few decades, the world has witnessed several devastating earthquakes with similar magnitudes and destruction. One of the most notable examples is the 2010 Haiti earthquake that had a magnitude of 7.0 and resulted in the loss of over 220,000 lives and caused an estimated $8 billion in damages. Another devastating earthquake was the 2011 Tohoku earthquake in Japan, which had a magnitude of 9.0 and resulted in over 15,000 deaths and caused an estimated $235 billion in damages. Of the $84 billion in earthquake damages, $71 billion is needed for rebuilding, $10 billion in national income loss, and nearly £3 billion in the workforce losses. The European Bank for Reconstruction and Development predicted potential losses of up to 1% of Turkey's GDP in 2023. About half of all residential properties in the affected area were covered by compulsory earthquake insurance. So for many, in and among all the destruction and devastation, the road to recovery isn't quite as heavy as those without. The United Nations Development Program estimates that between 116 million and 210 million tons of debris needs to be cleared in Turkey. To help visualize the magnitude of this amount, if you converted this weight into blue whales and then lined up all 2,100,000 of them end to end, they would span the distance of London to New York nearly 10.5 times. Everything that's happened up until now. Following the disaster, President Erdogan declared 7 days of national mourning in Turkey, along with many other countries around the world that wanted to pay their respects to all the lives lost. While in Syria, the Syrian government and opposition have criticized the lack of humanitarian aid and rescue efforts, with the United Nations facing criticism for focusing the majority of aid shipments to their fellow NATO member, Turkey. In addition to the immediate dangers caused by the Turkey and Syrian earthquake, such as building collapses and injuries, there are also concerns about the long-term health impacts on survivors. With damaged sanitation facilities and limited access to clean water, the risk of waterborne diseases is a major concern. Furthermore, the lack of adequate shelter and cold weather conditions increase the risk of hypothermia, particularly for those who are homeless or living in temporary shelters. To address these issues, health authorities are working tirelessly to provide survivors with access to medical care and clean water. The World Health Organization is also collaborating with local authorities to monitor disease rates and ensure that proper COVID-19 protocols are being followed. A criminal investigation was launched from within Turkey regarding building collapses, as many buildings that collapsed were constructed after the 2000s and should have been able to withstand natural disasters and protect their occupants. This highlights the issue of potential corruption in the construction sector. Over 600 people are being investigated, with 184 arrested and awaiting trial. The Justice Ministry plans to create earthquake crimes investigation bureaus to hold those responsible accountable. Sadly, it's unfortunate that during times of crisis, there are always a few individuals who take advantage of the situation for their own personal gain. This was no exception in the aftermath of the Turkey and Syrian earthquake, as reports of looting began to emerge shortly after the disaster struck. Despite the efforts of first responders and other relief workers, there were opportunists who saw this tragedy as a chance to enrich themselves at the expense of others. Some of the looters targeted abandoned buildings, while others took advantage of the chaos and confusion to steal from vulnerable survivors. So, how is the world helping? The global response to the Turkey and Syrian earthquake has been tremendous, with more than 100 countries pledging support and sending aid to the affected areas. These nations have either sent in rescue teams to assist with search and rescue operations, or have sent in relief goods to help the earthquake victims. With such strong showing of support from the international community, it is clear that the world stands in solidarity with those affected by this disaster. Many prominent powers have been at the forefront of these efforts, providing significant resources and assistance to help those in need. China, for instance, has sent an 82-member resource team, along with 4 search dogs and 20 tons of supplies, to Adana, Turkey. The country has also pledged $5.9 million in emergency aid and $200,000 each to Turkey and Syria through its Red Cross. China's response demonstrates the country's commitment to international humanitarian efforts and its willingness to provide meaningful support in times of crisis. The European Union has also been actively involved in the relief efforts, sending 27 search and rescue teams from 19 different countries to assist with the rescue efforts in Turkey. These teams consist of 1,150 rescue workers, 70 dogs, and are coordinated through the EU Civil Protection Mechanism. Additionally, the Block's Copernicus satellite system has been activated for emergency mapping services, and the European Commission is funding humanitarian organizations in Syria. India has played a vital role in the response effort, sending 2 teams from its National Disaster Response Force with 100 personnel and specially trained canine squads to assist in the search and rescue operations in Turkey. The country has also sent relief material to both Turkey and Syria, showing its commitment to supporting its neighbors in times of crisis. Despite the ongoing Russian-Ukraine conflict, Russia has also promised to send rescue teams to both Turkey and Syria, with 300 military personnel already deployed in Syria to assist with the rescue effort. President Vladimir Putin has made the offer in phone calls with leaders of both countries who have gratefully accepted the help, even though Turkey is one of the strongest NATO powers that are currently helping arm Ukrainian soldiers in the fight against Russia. The UK has pledged to send 76 search and rescue specialists, 4 search dogs, and rescue equipment to assist in the efforts in Turkey. The country is also sending an emergency medical team and stands ready to provide further support if needed. And finally, the U.S. is also sending significant resources to support the search and rescue efforts in Turkey. 2 79-person search and rescue teams consisting of nearly 100 Los Angeles County firefighters and structural engineers and a half-dozen specially trained dogs are being sent to assist Turkish authorities. Medical teams and relief material are also being sent in coordination with the Turkish authorities, with 2 aircraft carrying medical staff landing in Adana to set up a 30-bed field hospital. The response from these prominent powers demonstrates the global commitment to supporting those affected by the earthquake in Turkey and Syria. The collective effort of these countries, alongside the many others that have provided support, is critical in helping those impacted by this tragedy to rebuild and recover. How can you help? If you liked the video and want to help those affected by the Turkey and Syrian earthquake, then please donate to reputable organizations like the Red Crescent using the link below. You can donate through their website. Every little bit helps, so please contribute if you can. Thank you for watching. We hope it has helped you gain a better understanding of the challenges faced by the people of Turkey and Syria. Share your thoughts on the ongoing relief efforts by leaving a comment below. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more insightful videos.